Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The crime of forcing a person to submit to sexual intercourse against his or her will. Attack in speech or writing. Attack someone physically or emotionally. The mugger assaulted the woman. Force someone to have sex against their will. A threatened or attempted physical attack by someone who appears to be able to cause bodily harm if not stopped. Close fighting during the culmination of a military attack. Thoroughbred that won the Triple Crown in 1946. The crime of forcing a person to submit to sexual intercourse against his or her will. The act of despoiling a country in warfare. Destroy and strip of its possession. The soldiers raped the beautiful country. Eurasian plant cultivated for its seed and as a forage crop. Force someone to have sex against their will. The woman was raped on her way home at night. The crime of forcing a person to submit to sexual intercourse against his or her will. A feeling of delight at being filled with wonder and enchantment. The crime of forcing a person to submit to sexual intercourse against his or her will. A disrespectful act. A crime less serious than a felony. An act that disregards an agreement or a right. He claimed a violation of his rights under the Fifth Amendment. Entry to another's property without right or permission. Attack in speech or writing. Launch an attack or assault on. Begin hostilities or start warfare with. Serbian forces assailed Bosnian towns all week. Attack someone physically or emotionally. Nightmares assailed him regularly. Ideas or actions intended to deal with a problem or situation. An attack on inflation. Attack in speech or writing. The editors of the left-leaning paper attacked the new House Speaker. Military, an offensive against an enemy, using weapons. The attack began at dawn. Take the initiative and go on the offensive. The Serbs attacked the village at night. A decisive manner of beginning a musical tone or phrase. Intense adverse criticism. The government has come under attack. Launch an attack or assault on. Begin hostilities or start warfare with. Hitler attacked Poland on September 1, 1939 and started World War II. Attack someone physically or emotionally. The act of attacking. Attacks on women increased last year. An offensive move in a sport or game. They won the game with a 10-hit attack in the 9th inning. A sudden occurrence of an uncontrollable condition. An attack of diarrhea. Begin to injure. The cancer cells are attacking his liver. Set to work upon. Turn one's energies vigorously to a task. I attacked the problem as soon as I got out of bed. Strong criticism. He published an unexpected attack on my work. The onset of a corrosive or destructive process, as by a chemical agent. The film was sensitive to attack by acids. Attack in speech or writing. A regular route for a sentry or policeman. An interval during which a recurring sequence of events occurs. The activity of playing 18 holes of golf. A round of golf takes about 4 hours. Attack in speech or writing. Become round, plump, or shapely. Having the shape or form of a circle. Any circular or rotating mechanism. The usual activities in your day. The doctor made his rounds. A part song in which voices follow each other. One voice starts and others join in one after another until all are singing different parts of the song at the same time. They enjoyed singing rounds. Bring to a highly developed, finished, or refined state. A charge of ammunition for a single shot. Pronounce with rounded lips. Of sounds, full and rich. From beginning to end, throughout. It rains all year round on sky. Sports, a division during which one team is on the offensive. Make round. Round the edges. A serving to each of a group, usually alcoholic. He ordered a second round. Express as a round number. Round off the amount. A crosspiece between the legs of a chair. A cut of beef between the rump and the lower leg. An outburst of applause. There was a round of applause. Mathematics, expressed to the nearest integer, 10, 100, or 1000. In round numbers. Often plural, a series of professional calls, usually in a set order. The doctor goes on his rounds first thing every morning. The course along which communication spread. The story is going the rounds in Washington. Wind around. Move along a circular course. Round the bend. Aim and shoot with great precision. Attack in speech or writing. A gunshot from a concealed location. Hunt or shoot snipe. Old or New World straight-billed game bird of the sandpiper family, of marshy areas, similar to the woodcocks. Attack someone physically or emotionally. A state of shame or disgrace. He was resigned to a life of dishonor. Lacking honor or integrity. Refuse to accept. Dishonor checks and drafts. Bring shame or dishonor upon. He dishonored his family by committing a serious crime. Force someone to have sex against their will. A state of shame or disgrace. Lacking honor or integrity. Refuse to accept. Bring shame or dishonor upon. Force someone to have sex against their will. The act of scandalizing. A disgraceful event. Violate the sacred character of a place or language. A feeling of righteous anger. Strike with disgust or revulsion. Force someone to have sex against their will. A wantonly cruel act. Hold spellbound. Force someone to have sex against their will. Fail to agree with. Be in violation of, as of rules or patterns. This sentence violates the rules of syntax. Act in disregard of laws, rules, contracts, or promises. Violate the basic laws or human civilization. Violate the sacred character of a place or language. Violate the sanctity of the church. Destroy and strip of its possession. Force someone to have sex against their will. Destroy. Don't violate my garden. A statutory offense that provides that it is a crime to knowingly cause another person to engage in an unwanted sexual act by force or threat. Most states have replaced the common law definition of rape with statutes defining sexual assault. A statutory offense that provides that it is a crime to knowingly cause another person to engage in an unwanted sexual act by force or threat. A statutory offense that provides that it is a crime to knowingly cause another person to engage in an unwanted sexual act by force or threat. A statutory offense that provides that it is a crime to knowingly cause another person to engage in an unwanted sexual act by force or threat. Find fault with. Express criticism of. Point out real or perceived flaws. Find fault with. Express criticism of. Point out real or perceived flaws. The paper criticized the new movie. Act as a critic. Those who criticize others often are not perfect, either. Find fault with. Express criticism of. Point out real or perceived flaws. Act as a critic. A vigorous blow. The sudden knock floored him. The act of hitting vigorously. Find fault with. Express criticism of. Point out real or perceived flaws. Don't knock the food, it's free. Deliver a sharp blow or push. He knocked the glass clear across the room. Knock against with force or violence. Make light, repeated taps on a surface. The sound of knocking, as on a door or in an engine or bearing. The knocking grew louder. Sound like a car engine that is firing too early. Negative criticism. A bad experience. The school of hard knocks. Rap with the knuckles. Knock on the door. Make an effort or attempt. The police attempted to stop the thief. Enter upon an activity or enterprise. The act of attacking. They made an attempt on his life. Earnest and conscientious activity intended to do or accomplish something. An energetic attempt to achieve something. He fought a battle for recognition. An open clash between two opposing groups, or individuals. Police tried to control the battle between the pro and anti-abortion mobs. A hostile meeting of opposing military forces in the course of a war. Grant won a decisive victory in the Battle of Chickamauga. Battle or contend against in or as if in a battle. They battled over the budget. A mutual promise to marry. The act of giving someone a job. Contact by fitting together. The engagement of the clutch. The act of sharing in the activities of a group. The teacher tried to increase his students' engagement in class activities. A hostile meeting of opposing military forces in the course of a war. He lost his romantic ideas about war when he got into a real engagement. Employment for performers or performing groups that lasts for a limited period of time. A meeting arranged in advance. Go against, as of rules and laws. This behavior conflicts with our rules. An open clash between two opposing groups, or individuals. The harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. A hostile meeting of opposing military forces in the course of a war. A disagreement or argument about something important. The familiar conflict between Republicans and Democrats. An incompatibility of dates or events. He noticed a conflict in the dates of the two meetings. A state of opposition between persons or ideas or interests. His conflict of interest made him ineligible for the post. Be in conflict. The two proposals conflict. Opposition between two simultaneous but incompatible feelings. He was immobilized by conflict and indecision. Opposition in a work of drama or fiction between characters or forces, especially an opposition that motivates the development of the plot. This form of conflict is essential to man's writing. Be engaged in a fight. Carry on a fight. Siblings are always fighting. A hostile meeting of opposing military forces in the course of a war. Make a strenuous or labored effort. The act of fighting, any contest or struggle. A fight broke out at the hockey game. Exert oneself continuously, vigorously, or obtrusively to gain an end or engage in a crusade for a certain cause or person. Be an advocate for. Fight against or resist strongly. Don't fight it. An aggressive willingness to compete. The team was full of fight. A boxing or wrestling match. The fight was on television last night. An intense verbal dispute. A violent fight over the bill is expected in the Senate. Sexual intercourse with a person, girl or boy, who has not reached the age of consent, even if both parties participate willingly. Rape in which the rapist is known to the victim, as when they are on a date together. Sexual intercourse with a person, girl or boy, who has not reached the age of consent, even if both parties participate willingly. Any lascivious contact by an adult with the sexual organs of a child, especially not involving sexual intercourse.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.